Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and we are very excited to be coming to you today with another fresh new guest interview. Apologies up front if my voice is raspy, got some type of head cold going on, but we're going to try to push through it. If you listen to Monday's episode, that was really rough. I had a raspy voice, and I did it early in the morning. Alex, you know you don't really record stuff early in the morning because your voice is just not warm yet. But
I don't.
Alex Kirby, man, how you doing tonight?
What's up, Jeremiah? Yeah, I'm normally I think we normally record like 10:30 to 12.
Yeah. Before your voice gets too tired.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm doing great, man. I'm on vacation actually with my family in Beaufort, South Carolina at Fripp Island, which is like an hour south of Charleston. And so my two kids, my wife, my family was here last week, and we're doing my wife's family this week. So super
cool, knocking it all out at once.
Man, super fun. This place is super beautiful nature, beautiful beaches. So I'm leaving Friday. We'll go back Friday, and I think I might be checking out a landscape company. One that's not big on social, but a big company is called Martin Landscapes, and they're out of here. I think I'm going by there on Thursday.
Cool.
So I need some help on inventory equipment.
Yeah.
Questions like we have like 15 mowers now or something, and gosh, I guess like 80 pieces of equipment, right? Like, so I need help from a big company on how to track that better. So anyways, doing great, man. I'm appreciated to be on the show and what you're doing, and hopefully it can help somebody change their life tonight.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's who knows what we're gonna get into. If y'all listen to the show regularly, you know we don't script anything. We just get into the conversation because that's what I like listening to. I just like listening to real talk, like real life, just down-to-earth dudes, business owners, men and women, just having a good time and loving what they're doing and trying to grow and get better at the same time. But, Alex, I mean, everybody listening probably knows who you are, knows Trifecta and everything like that. But give us the 5-minute rundown of who you are and kind of how you got started. And you don't have to give your whole backstory. I'm sure, like I said, everybody knows that they can go to your platforms. But just catch us up to date where you are now.
I can give you Cliff Notes. It's funny. I have a lot of people that do follow us or whatever, and that actually don't know how. I had someone the other day ask, "Did I buy Trifecta?" And so
no, quite the opposite.
Yeah, for people who don't know me, my name's Alex. My name's Alexander. Go by Xander sometimes.
Yeah, you throw me off because on your Instagram, 1 second it's Xander, the next second it's Alex. I'm like, which one is it?
So I it's funny. I had someone ask me that yesterday. My name's Alexander, and so I have a lot of Alexes in my family, like my wife's side.
Mm-hmm.
And so a couple of years ago at Christmas, everyone was saying Alex for gifts, right?
Yeah.
And dude, just call me Xander. This is so ridiculous. I can't. So they all go by Alex. Their names are Alex.
Yeah.
Like the two, my brother-in-law and another one, a cousin or something. And so I have a marketing company now, Pure Marketing. And so to differentiate people from calling Trifecta and that, I started going by Xander with that. And so you mash those two together. I just rather go by that. That's the name I always preferred in baseball some. And so anyways, but yeah, so I started in the green industry, super fresh, never cut a blade of grass my whole life. My dad did ours growing up. I started my business. I did it as a little side hustle for like 6 months in 2016. Yeah, 2016 on Fridays. I worked at church full time. My faith and my walk with God is the most important thing to me. And so met Christ when I was 19. So anyways, so I started cutting grass on Fridays because that's the day I had off, and YouTubed how to edge. Didn't know what I was doing at all. Like, dude, I remember sitting there at the first yard, the guy who said like, "Hey, come cut my grass for $45." I remember YouTubing it and not understanding that edging was not weed eating the grass off the curb.
Yeah, it was actually like
an edger,
edging. Yeah.
I didn't understand that. And he called me the next day. He's like, "Hey, you mowed the grass really nice, but like you didn't edge." And I was like, "No, yeah, my edger wasn't working. Like, I'll be back tomorrow," and thinking I did it.
Yeah.
So then I had to like go ask my dad, like, "What is edging?" So anyways, that's where I started from. Everybody like literally had zero understanding. And for 6 months, I got up to like 15 yards probably on the side. Then I quit the church full time, which I was doing full time. And I had like $2,400 in my pocket. Started Trifecta in January of 2017. And we don't have snow here in South Carolina. So It was pretty bold. But God was faithful, and we did $250,000 my first year. And we have scaled to, we'll do 1.75 probably this year in year number 6. So not that revenue is everything, profitability is everything, and we'll talk about that hopefully. But
yeah,
I heard a great quote this week, Jeremiah remind me to share. But so yeah, we've been super profitable from day one, really. Love the green industry. I love the education side of it even more, love consulting. I do business coaching. I do marketing stuff, podcasts, down to business. I have 21 employees now on Trifecta side. So love helping my employees like get to where they're going. We can talk about that too. We just started doing this really cool thing called an alumni wall that I'd love to talk about. So anyways, yeah, 6 years in now. And hopefully, we're in the middle of what Corey Ballard talks about is the middle of the valley of death, which is being in between $1 to $3 million company is very difficult. So we're right in the middle of that. We're pushing through and trying to breach that 3 million, maybe by the end of next year, but probably the year after that.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, that's a cool backstory. If you haven't heard, if you want to hear more detail, I'm sure you have gone through that on your podcast at some point, Down to Business, as well as on other podcasts. Just go search Alex Kirby on podcast app, and I'm sure something will come up. But well, let's just hop into that, man. Business is what we want to talk about tonight, and profitability is a huge thing. So I definitely want to hit on that, like you said. But there's a lot of guys listening who are young. We have a very young demographic, and not just necessarily young in age, young in business. That's the target that we're going after, and we have a lot of that in here. And it's guys that have been in business 1 to 3 years. A lot of I know a bunch of guys who are in business for like 14, 16, 18 months now. So very, very, very fresh. And
that's crazy for you to say because, doing this now over half a decade, like I'm starting to feel like a little bit of a veteran in this. It didn't feel that way till probably a year ago, and like I remember being that first year, second year, and man, I mean, podcasts weren't a thing yet,
for sure.
Paul Jameson's podcast wasn't out. Brian's podcast, Brian Fullerton, wasn't out. There wasn't a lot of like landscaping resources. Excuse me, not to say a lot.
There wasn't any. Yeah.
Like I don't recall. I remember just like reading books about finance and trying to apply them, to landscaping. And thankfully that is the way my brain works is, I like to read. I like to listen to podcasts all the time. It just wasn't nothing landscape focused at all.
Yeah.
So if I remember right, when I went to GIE, which is now Equip in 2018 or 19, is the first time. I think it was 2019. No, 2018, but 2019 was kind of when everybody started talking about like making the industry better and let's talk about this stuff more.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera.
It's a crazy thing that you talk about. We'll circle back to where we're going in just a second, but talking about Equip and making the industry better, I think that's something that should be talked about more often is where the industry's going. Like it's totally transforming, and we're still kind of in the very beginning stages. Like we're in year 3 to 5, somewhere in there of like really seeing transformations in the industry, and like higher quality of business owners and just guys coming into the industry. And everything that Equip is doing with their marketing, getting these podcasters on board, yourself's going to be on a podcast panel, like that trade show has turned into something where it's like not just go look at equipments and stuff. It's like, let's go grow your business and really.
That's a great point. So for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, the Equip Expo, which is formerly known as GIE Expo, is the largest trade show in the country for green industry professionals.
And I think it's literally top 10 of like all industries.
Yes. People don't realize that the green industry is one of the biggest trades industries in the country.
What is it? The last I heard was what, like $2 billion, I think? $2 billion industry or somewhere in there?
If it's not more than that.
Yeah.
I think more. For goodness sake, Brightview is traded publicly on the stock exchange.
Yeah. Yeah.
So True Green, there's a couple companies that make up 700 million of that probably.
Yeah, that's right. So it probably is way more than $2 billion. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to.
Maybe it's $20 billion. It's something with a 2. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They say that if you're $1 million company, you're in the top 1% of companies. So I do know that's a fact. So it's probably not 20, but I'm thinking 2 to 4.
Yeah,
2 to 4 billion. But that's not including equipment. I don't think. I think that's just services.
Yeah,
But anyways, that what's now to me, I view it as a conference, not a trade show. So, I wish they would call it a conference because it is a lot of equipment. It is a lot of demonstrators and booths and things to look at. But what I'm hoping it starts to transform into is breakout seminars like Jobber, for example. I met Corey Ballard. If you guys haven't lived under a rock, you know who Corey Ballard is. He's he had one of the top. He just sold his company, but he had privately owned one of the biggest companies in the country, and not just biggest, one of the best. Marketing, unbelievable. Revenue, dream accounts. I went up there. I flew up there in was it COVID? 2020 maybe. Yeah, 2 years ago. And I flew up there and stayed, not in South, but I stayed with him and whatever for a week. And dude, the accounts they have were like, if you could dream up your dream commercial account, they have 30 of them.
Yeah.
John Deere factory, Amazon, like, God, it was crazy doing $1 million project for a year, like.
Sounds like Andy Mulder.
He sold, and he's doing amazing. He sold for a lot of money. Can't say, I know roughly what it is. I can't say, but anyways, I met him at GIE at the Jobber booth.
Yeah. Like
he was doing a 15-minute talk on how to hire and make your company more legit. Just at the booth. Just there's 10,000 people around walking around, and they're all, and I remember sitting there front row, like, do people realize that everyone in this place should be listening to this right now?
Yeah.
And so anyways, if you guys haven't gone, you got to go. It is transformational, but I'm hoping that the Equip turns into kind of a conference, where like this year, I think we don't want to spoil it, but we're going to have a breakout in one of the rooms, I think, where I'm going to talk about, what does business look like in 2023, for the green industry, and people can ask questions and all that stuff. So, because there needs to be that communication, that night, Jeremiah, when you and I stayed up till 3 a.m.
Oh yeah, it was so late.
But those conversations are so important because, like you said, if we want our industries to be like the HVAC, plumbing, electric, I think we're on the way. I think in about 10 years we could be close.
That's the thing. Like everybody listening needs to take this to heart and tell your friends and other guys in your community about it, because like you think electrical contractors, you think plumbing, like, yeah, those are hard jobs. They're definitely in the trades, but they're like respected positions. Like people respect those jobs. When you think cutting grass, people don't respect that. They don't respect that you have a lawn care business. I know a lot of people probably get made fun of because you cut grass. Like, and it's something that we should be doing. We should all be working on to transform that mindset. And it's up to it's up to each and every one of us to do that, though, is the thing.
Yeah. But the issue is this. this is something I wish would happen. I'm not a big government guy, but I hate government. I don't want them touching it. But in HVAC and all this stuff, you have to have a license.
Yeah.
And in the green industry, you have
Anybody
to have
can go start up.
except for fertilization, which
Yeah.
like, and so I wish that there was a, if you're 18 or older, you have to have at least a bit, you have to have proof of a business license.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't, if you're not working in cities. And then I wish there was like at least a thing where you had to pass a basic business thing, just to weed out those guys who are in $30 and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
If we could weed out those people, man, what we could do,
Well, because the whole look of literally the physical look of the industry would change. Like, think about who's driving around, like chucking a trucks go away like that.
But this is like the non-popular thing. Like, I bring up this stuff all the time because I'm just a realist. Like, if I have to shut my company down tomorrow, I'm willing to do it. I'm never going to sit here and like tell people blow smoke. But here's the point, the problem that I don't know how we're going to address when it comes to residential. Okay. I had a guy come out the other day and do termite mosquito blowing at my house.
Yeah.
Took him 12 minutes. I counted, and it was $85.
Mm-hmm.
One guy, no trailer. He had a blower with like a fogger on it.
Yep.
And he was with like Mosquito Squad is what they were called or something. Bro, he can do 4 of those an hour. Talking about $350 in revenue an hour. That is like where with us residentially and landscaping, green industry, 2 guys at $100 an hour if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like with equipment, like this guy had no equipment. There was zero cost pretty much.
Yep.
It's like, so that pain point is what I call it. Is like, what are we going to do to fix, like, what can you do?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, obviously on 1 acre properties and more, that problem goes away because you need 2 people.
Yeah.
But it kind of goes away because you can have 2 mowers and be fast and all that stuff. But the equipment is the problem. Like, landscaping is so equipment heavy.
Yeah.
And other industries, you don't need as much, like, and we're not the highest charge. Like, if you're going to be equipment heavy, you want to be doing what, drain pipe and like all this stuff where you're making $1,000 an hour or something.
Yeah.
We got, how much equipment you think's on your box truck right now?
I mean, if you take the truck out of it, at least 30 grand. 25, 30 grand.
Like, you think the plumber's got 30 grand in his truck right now?
No, he's got pipe fittings and like some Milwaukee tools, like not 30
Probably
grand.
Got 3 grand, you know? So he's got 10%, but he's charging $100, $150 an hour
for himself.
Yeah. So it's like,
you're right.
I don't know how we're going to fix that issue. I don't know if it is fixable. For us at Trifecta, we cut half our residential customers this year. We backfilled it up to like 50. We got 50 more, but we only do full service and it's still not working very great. Like, it's not bad, but it's not good at all. I'd say it's 4.5, 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because there's this thing I say, Jeremiah, it's 80-20 is like 80% of our time dealing with problems is done by 20% of our revenue.
Yep.
It's like, and that's residential. So I don't know, dude. I don't know the answer.
It's interesting you bring that up. And I think that's the problem that you're going to run into there is when you decide to scale like that. I think if you're a 1 or 2 man crew, you can stay pretty profitable running residential route. But my concern, my question is, and you're not going to have an answer to this, but it's a discussion topic here. I've asked this to somebody else in the past. Is we all say raise our rates, and I cut grass. I'm a lawn maintenance company. I'm not saying I'm not trying to discourage anybody out there that's doing that or thinking about getting into it. But we say raise our rates every year. If I have a $75 yard right now, if I raise it $5 next year, $3 the next year, $5 again the next year, in 5 years that yard's going to be close to $100. In 10 years, that yard's going to be close to $130 to $135. Do we really think people are going to be paying $135 for a yard that was $75 10 years ago?
Well, no, and guess what? most people are buying houses now in neighborhoods with a quarter of an acre.
Exactly. You're not going to be able to get $80 to $90 for those lawns.
They're going to use robo mowers.
Yes.
Like they're going to go get the Husqvarna robo mower and have an edger and blower and do it in 7 minutes.
Yep.
That's either going to happen, or Husqvarna is going to sub out guys and they're going to teach them how to repair the robo mower.
That is, you're hitting on something right there that I think is going to be huge. And it's, if you could get in on this early and learn how to install those things, set up the parameters, and build them or whatever you got to do to get them running for the homeowner, I think that could be a new division of your company right there.
Yeah, but this is like where the pain point is. And this is why all my hardscape guys, if there's anyone listening, they're all like, yeah, hardscaping. This is like, because, we just wrapped up a $21,000 job today. Okay. And I only have one landscape crew that does big jobs and then one that does like $1,000 jobs a day or whatever.
Yeah.
That crew, you got one crew on the same job and it's like laser focused. The problem with like mowing residentially is you got so many customers they have to add up to the price of one $20,000 job, right?
Yep.
So would you rather have, this is the phrase people have said, would you rather have 50 pennies or 2 quarters?
Yep.
Well, I'd rather have 2 quarters because I don't have to keep up with 50 pennies.
Yeah. 48 less headaches.
48 less headaches. So again, like, this is unpopular opinion night apparently, but like, these are issues that we are all facing that I think the answer lies within the problem, which is, yes, raise your prices, but really change your business model,
Yeah.
So for us at Trifecta this year, we started what we've been calling internally the menu model, which is, hey, this is our menu. If you want to eat at our restaurant, then you can. If not, you can go down to Olive Garden.
Yeah.
So this is what we do at Trifecta, take it or leave it. Now, obviously, we formulate that to hopefully, like, we're telling you this is what you need. We're not just like, well, this is how we like it. No, we think this is the best thing for your property, but we don't give people a lot of options anymore.
Yeah.
Still probably have 40 yards that residentially we're up to like 140. And like, people, this is not like mow, blow, go. Like, we have 140 like property maintenance, like nice houses.
You do everything there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, besides 40 of them, 100 of them are nice, like $500,000 and more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, but we have probably 30 or 40 yards that we need to get rid of because they just don't fit our model. And it's just hard, man. Like, commercial is tough to get because we all know it's a race to the bottom, where at least residentially sometimes they're willing to pay a little more as long as they can trust somebody. Commercial, it's like a budget thing. Hey, this is our budget, take it or leave it. And it's like, I'll leave it, you know?
Yep.
I have that going on right now with a gas station thing where I posted on Trifecta. We landed this big account and now we're fighting on price back and forth. And I've told them, like, hey, I'm not going to do it for that price. Like, and they're like, why? I'm like, because look at the way it's terrible right now. It's like, this is what that got you. Can you not, like, if you think that's what, they're willing to pay a little bit more, but I'm like, guys, you need to pay like double, you know?
Yep.
Well, commercial's just a tough beast because it's corporate America bullcrap. So we're in a tough, like, I did a little story before you called me for this episode, and I'll let you talk after this, Jeremiah. I was like, this is just what's been on, like, this is actually fun to talk about with you right now because I'm really thinking through this myself, like, this is me talking through what I'm thinking about right now. This isn't me coaching or consulting right now. This is like the pain points.
Yeah.
This is the hardest year in business. Like, COVID 2020 was not that hard.
It was a great year. Everybody was busier than they've ever been in the grain industry. 2021,
pretty easy too.
Yeah.
2022, for whatever reason, all of a sudden, COVID has touched everything.
Yep.
Supply chain, pricing, gas, labor, which I've actually had a pretty good run at it this year.
Better find some wood to knock on.
But dude, it's crushing everything. I mean, fertilizer pricing, like,
that's crazy.
And And what are we supposed to do? Like that's the $1,000,000 question.
Yeah. No, man. This is the last 25 minutes is exactly why we don't script episodes, because this is the real life stuff that everyone else is out there thinking. And one thing that I've learned is if you're thinking it, there's at least 15, 20, 30 other guys that are out there thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So it's real life stuff. And so we kind of transition into this. I want to talk about profitability a little bit, because as we sit here and talk about mowing, and you can generate revenue, like you can generate the money from mowing, but you have to know your numbers. You have to know your stuff to really turn profit at the end of the day. To put money in your bank account after everything and everyone has been paid, you got to really know your stuff.
And how are you supposed to know that if you do, like this is where you said you have a lot of new guys. I don't remember. I just have always been gifted with numbers.
Yeah.
So, which is rare. It's not a normal thing. Numbers is like a thing to me. If you're a guy right now, year 1 to 3, how do you even know if you're making money? If you don't have, like, I'm not trying to plug Cycle CPA. I promise I'm not, like, hear me on this, but I went to GIE last year, and I think I showed you my notebook that I carry around, right?
Yeah.
I'll show you, find me at Equip this year. I go there with a plan, and I write down 8 to 10 things where I say I want to find companies that do something like these things that I've been brainstorming all year. And I was frustrated with my current CPA and bookkeeper going into Equip a GIE last year. And I saw Cycle's booth as I was walking. I was literally casually walking. This was not like I do a day where I'm intentionally looking at everything, but I was like kind of walking. And I saw the booth and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I've been looking for. And I asked her one question. I said, are you a bookkeeper that specializes in landscaping and knows the percentages that we're supposed to hit for benchmarks? She goes, yep, that's exactly what we do. I said, I'll call you next week.
I said, sign me up.
I call you next week.
Yeah.
Dude, super affordable. And so, like, going back to what you're saying, I have a call every month with them. I pay them. Okay. I'm sponsored by them, but I also pay them a lot of money. Okay. And not a lot, but like a substantial amount.
Yeah. You pay them what their rate. I mean, what they.
Yeah, for sure.
charge.
Like, it's not unaffordable. Like, my company's big, so it's more, but like for your size company, Jeremiah, you can pay like $250 a month.
Yep.
They're going to do your bookkeeping. They're going to do your QuickBooks reconciling. And then they're going to go, oh, and Jeremiah, you were spending too much on this. Here's the percentage you're overspending. Hey, your payroll's over. You're paying guys too much. You're not getting enough. Hey, your cost of goods, you're paying too much for your mulch. They're going to coach you on if you're actually making money.
Yeah.
Because this is what guys and this is what I talk about in my consulting stuff. I call it pushing money. And so, like, a lot of guys think they're making money, but they're really just pushing it around.
Yep.
Meaning, like, they got $5,000 in the account. They're like, man, I got $5,000 and I'm a solo guy. That's awesome. Yeah, but 3,200 of that is earmarked, for next week's bills coming out for everything. So you really got 1,800. And then if one thing goes wrong, you have $0.
Yep. If you end up like me and you got to put $4,000 worth of brakes on your new box truck, you're out of money.
There you go. Like, I just had this problem, and like, I'm gonna be super transparent. Like, Trifecta, we usually keep, I'm not gonna say the number, but we keep a lot of money in the checking account. You guys know I run a debt-free business. I did just get a credit card that we pay off every Friday. Which there's no excuse, but it's 2%. And I finally caved to that because my bookkeeper said I should do it because I can make 5 figures a year on cash back. So I did it. But debt-free company, we keep a lot of money. Dude, my money got down because of cash flow issues because 2 of our biggest accounts didn't pay on time.
Yeah.
We got down the other day on my vacation to like a scary number. And thankfully I had a little money I can put in. I have money I can put back in, but it should not be a problem. I keep a lot of like money that like you could buy a very nice Tesla with in the account. Okay.
Yeah.
And like, so I have all the tools. So it's like, guys, if you are out, like, you have to know your numbers. Like, everyone always says that. And like, I listen to every podcast, know your numbers, know your worth. What does that mean? You know, like,
that's the thing.
I hear, God, there's a couple influencers that are popping in my head right now that I'm not going to say, like, know your numbers. And I'm like, what does that mean? Well, know your numbers literally means my net profit's 12%, my gross profit's 35%, my COGS, cost of goods, meaning the materials that cost to do the job is this. My labor, what do they call it? Cycle calls it like raw labor or like direct labor cost, excuse me, that's what they call it, is this. Like, that's what you have to know.
You need to know you need to know your reports, your balance
Bro,
sheet, your cash
you
flow
got,
statement. Like,
dude, you gotta know it. Like, so Cycle is perfect for that. There's a couple other good ones out there, but I have been unbelievably impressed with it. If they drop me as a ambassador today, I would still use them.
yeah. Yep. That's what it's about.
It's crazy, dude. It's
You,
crazy how much money they have saved me by telling me the right information about what my company is putting out.
yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. Well, I don't want to hold you too long. I know we're
Dude,
staying
I'm
up.
good. You want to do a
Well,
part two?
yeah, we might do a part 2 on this. I tell you what, I do have one more question on the $1 to $3 million range. This is something that I've heard talked about before, but I don't really know much about it. So maybe hit on that a little bit for guys that are maybe wanting to scale or thinking that's something down the road they want to do. What is some advice? You said you're in that kind of the valley of you got to get through this time. What does that kind of entail, and how do you get out of it, and what's on the other side?
Yeah, I'll say the quote that I heard that in regards to this, because this is something you need to remember, is the guy said, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash flow is clarity. It's one of the best quotes I've ever heard in my life. Just heard it recently. So revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash flow is clarity. So meaning that revenue doesn't matter, profitability matters, and cash flow brings a lot of clarity to your business. Super good. But yes, so like all experts in the green industry would argue and say that somewhere 1 to 1.5 million to 3 million is the valley of death for whether your company's going to be able to scale or not. It's not that your company's going to die, but Corey Ballard actually told me something interesting the other day, and I think he'd be okay with me sharing it. He said that so many companies in his area are calling him that are about $1 million, trying to get them to buy them out because they're out of money.
Wow.
Because they took on a lot of debt to try to scale past this valley.
Yeah.
And then inflation hit and their profits went down, or they got locked in bad contracts or whatever. And maybe they even took a crew away, but then they had a box truck payment that's just sitting there. And like, this is what I'm talking about. So that 1 million to 3 million, the reason why it's so hard to scale is because you're adding a lot of what's called, like, I call it foundational blocks. You're adding admin costs, you're adding processes, you're adding softwares, you're adding vehicles, equipment, training, right? All these things that don't necessarily equate to revenue growth, revenue growth, but not profitability. So like for me, I've added a director of operations, I added an admin assistant, we call her the customer care coordinator, and I have 2 managers. So I have 4 people that are not generating revenue in my office every day, including myself.
Yeah.
So that's 5. So, and I think we could, with our current structure, probably go to like 2.1 million. So like we have room to grow with that, but you have to add it before you can grow.
Which is a big step.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why it's hard, because you're adding like walkway before you've gotten there.
Well, what do you do? How do you stay afloat?
Well, you don't have debt, number one, because the more cash you have, the more gasoline you have for your car. So for me, people who don't know, I pay cash for my house, I pay cash for my land, I pay cash for everything. So like for me, all this money for Trifecta is this sounds crazy, but like play money. Like,
yeah,
I don't need it to live on. Now,
you don't owe anybody anything.
I don't owe anybody anything, literally.
Yeah.
Like, so sure, I need the money to make Trifecta run, but it's like I use it to grow it. I'd rather go, you know what? I want to add this. We just hired this admin assistant named Emily. She has a master's degree from Baylor. her husband is in the military and he moved here because we have the biggest army base in the country. And she's like, I need a great job. I need a good job for a couple years while we're here. She's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to add that person to my team for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I get to make those decisions, when I don't necessarily quote unquote need the money. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
You got to get your business to a place where I said this phrase the other day to a friend of mine. He was asking me about going like, how far to take his business. I said, don't go all in, but double down. If you know anything about gambling, like, when you put a bet down at $10, double your bet. If you believe in it, double it.
Yeah.
Like, so double down on your business. Don't go all in. Don't be an idiot, but, when you don't have debt, when you don't have a partner, like, sorry for people who have partners, but like, I'm really big on not having a partner. Dave Ramsey's quote. Have you heard Dave Ramsey's quote on this? He says, the only ships that don't set sail are a partnership.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
So like, really big on not having a partner. Because
I was listening to Andy Frisella podcast the other day. He was talking about this and he was saying because somebody asked him a question. They were like, I've recently been we're looking at doing a partnership, something like that. And he was like, don't do a partnership. Make it to where if you stay with me for this amount of time, by the time that's done, then you incentivize that. Like, if you have a partner, if you have somebody who's wanting to become a partner in your company and want to take on more responsibility, then instead of making them a partner, set something up wherein you tell them in 10 years and 15 years when you're ready to be done, if you stick with me this long and you give what you want to give, then at the end of that, then you're going to get a percentage and you're going to get some money out of this. Like, you're going to get a payout or whatever, but don't add them into your company.
Did he do profit sharing or did he do equity?
I think he did the profit sharing. I don't think he did equity.
I'm big on profit sharing. I just implemented it. This is the first year I have it for my manager team.
Yeah.
Because I do believe it incentivizes like overall health of the business, obviously. Yep. So yeah, I'm all about that. But anyways, the 1 to 3 million, very difficult. When you get to like 3 million, somewhere around there, it's not exact, obviously. You've got all these good foundations in place where you should be able to scale pretty not quickly, but healthfully.
Yeah.
Past that. But man, 1 to 3 is tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I believe it, man. Well, let me ask you this. You got two more final questions for you. But
I literally have all the time in the world, so don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. It's getting late. I got a full day tomorrow, but we'll see here. We're not all lucky. We don't all get to wake up at the beach like you do in the morning. I'm jealous. But I had my time there last week, so it's and I know you're still working. I know how it goes. But we were talking before we record about a topic that it's something that I think a lot of people need to hear, and it's you don't necessarily have to scale your company. You don't have to when people say grow your company, it doesn't mean scale and run your crews and numbers of people up. But you need to grow internally. You need to grow the numbers of your business, like you're saying. Like, you need to know your knowledge. Hit on that a little bit right here at the end of how do people grow their company in that aspect of things?
Yeah, so I'm bad at using this language incorrectly the last few years where I'm talking about grow your company and it sounded like I meant scale. And there's a lot of people that have one crew other than their own crew, 2 crews, right? And they're like, man, I'm good. Like, I'm making 250,000 top line revenue. I'm taking home 65 to 75 and I'm happy. And I'm like, hey, that's great. Like, I'm never knocking anybody for doing that. The people I do knock, and I'm not going to use the word idiot, but you are, is people who go, man, I'm at 250 and I'm just going to coast for 8 years. I'm like, what happens when you break your leg, or what happens what happens when you lose an account? What happens, blah, 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 right? COVID. You have to be making your company, whatever size it is, growing healthy and strong. Like, we all know shrubs. You trim shrubs back so they grow back better, right? You trim rose bushes back so they grow back more beautiful and they blossom.
Yep.
Like, same idea. So if you're the guy listening right now that's doing 110,000 solo, Shout out to my man Lake Taps, one of my guys out there in Washington. He's blown past his revenue from last year as a solo guy. He's in the six figures already this year.
That's crazy.
And yeah, he's killing it. Jason Cease, awesome guy. If you're just a solo guy with a part-timer, how can you make that the best version of that now and then improve on it next year?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about with grow your company. It's like offer more services, offer better service, get better equipment, get maybe you have one employee. How do you get him trained up better?
Yeah.
Your revenue should grow every year. Like if someone's like, yeah, I've done 200,000 for 4 years in a row.
Something's
Something's wrong. Like you might have a dip one year because you decided to do that. Maybe something bad did happen. I'm not saying like you can't not do the same revenue. For example, maybe you had an accident with a vehicle and you had to shut a crew down, like whatever. Maybe you did lose a huge account that you've had for 7 years. You'll have a dip that year, but that should be what's called an outlier. You know what that means? Like that should be an asterisk, so to speak. But like for people who are like, no, I've done 200 grand for 5 years and I'm happy. Like that something's wrong with your business. Like you should go 200 to 210 to 222 to 245. Like you should grow at your revenue at least on a small level because that means you're sharpening your blade. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's what I mean. Like, so anyone listening, Jeremiah, let's talk directly to the audience. And dude, first off, I want to say I've really enjoyed this podcast. Like, this is probably my favorite. I've been on a lot of podcasts now. This is probably my favorite because I feel like I've been able to talk through what my mind's been going through personally, like with my own business, where normally people are asking me my opinion. And like, this has literally just been like a nice, healthy dialogue.
Yeah.
But for anyone listening right now, maybe you're a part-timer at 40,000 a year. Maybe you're a guy. I just talked to a guy who had 3 crews right before I got on here. So he's probably doing 600, 700. Make it better make it better every day. Like, take a step every day and you're a mile tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, but at the end of the year. There's a great quote that God told me the other day when I was praying. It goes, it's this, and I want to make sure I say it right because it was so profound, is today is yesterday's tomorrow. And so many people, right, listening or in general, they're like, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to make my company better tomorrow. And yesterday was today's tomorrow, like yesterday was tomorrow's, today's tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a tongue twister, but it's such a profound thing. Is like, we said that yesterday and we're still in the same place. Like, let's do it today, And I challenge anyone listening to your podcast, which I know you do this, Jeremiah. That's why you have a podcast, is like, make it better.
Yeah.
Whether it's marketing, whether it's hiring, whether it's uniforms, whatever it is, make it better than it was before. And go and write out your 8 things that you do awesome. And then go write out the 8 things that you suck at. And then go, okay, how can I do these 8 things even better that I already do well? And how do I make these 8 things I suck at not suck so much?
Yeah.
And that's all I got. But I just think that's a big thing I've been thinking about myself.
Man, that's good. That's deep. That's good stuff. It's one of those things you need to go listen and hear that probably a few more times. So rewind it and go back and listen to the last 10 minutes over and over again. One final question we ask all of our guests here on the show is pretty simple, but it can be complex. It's just, what is your why?
I love that. It's funny. I just got asked that a month ago. I'm in this group with CEOs, about 12 of us, Christian CEO group. And my mentor, my business mentor, not landscape mentor, asked me that. He said, what's your purpose? What's your why? And that's what's helped me lately, because Trifecta has been kind of weighing on me this year, just because it's been a heavy year with how hard it's been. And my why, first off, is to glorify God. I mean, I know that's such a generic answer. What I mean by that is I want every guy I hire, every decision I make, every customer we do, it's not going to work out. We just got a 1-star review tonight right before I called you. Okay.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's I don't even know who it is. It might be fake. we're getting to the size where we're starting to threaten some companies in our city. So I'm thinking we get some fake reviews, but man, I'm trying to make every decision I can to make God smile at what I'm doing. And that when I get to heaven one day, he's going to go, you did well,
Yeah.
So that's my first why. And then my second is, if anyone knows, and they'll see me this year, I've got a lot of kids already, bro.
And you got another one coming, right?
I got a 3-year-old daughter who's my world, and I got a 1-year-old son who's the sweetest boy, and I got another son on the way. And my wife is a rock star, and I do all this for them, dude. Like, actually, Jeremiah, again, this is honesty hour. I want to do it all for them. Some days it's for me.
Yeah.
When I'm not in the right place with my walk with God, when I'm not in the right framework of prayer, it's easy to make it about you, be selfish and sinful. But what I'm trying to do and what I'm doing daily is, it's about my family. And we didn't get into this and we don't need to, but I'm really big on the work life. I don't like the word balance thing, but I work really hard, 7 to 5:30. I go home. I have 2 phones. I leave my work phone in the truck. When they're all asleep, I go back out and I work till midnight, but I'm not working when I'm with them.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's my why. I mean, what's my long-term thing? I'm not sure,
Yeah.
Trifecta is great. I have no plans on ending that anytime soon, but I love marketing. I love consulting. Those are my 2 favorite things.
Yeah. Who knows where the Lord's going to lead you?
Who knows? I mean, people call me time to time asking to buy us. I mean, I'm just, so I say no every time, but who knows one day, I know that I love helping people. And so I appreciate you having me on for sure.
Absolutely, man. It's been an honor. And we're definitely going to do a part 2 here. My voice is not going to hold up for another 30 or 45 minutes to extend this one, but we're definitely going to do a part 2 because I have some other topics that I want to talk to you about that I think you can bring a lot of knowledge to. Tonight was a lot of green industry focus, but I know that you do things outside of the green industry, business related. And that's something that I have a burden for as well as it is the Growing Green podcast. We do talk to a lot of business owners that own lawn and landscape companies, but we also try to bring in a good mixture of people outside of the industry and talk real business principles because it's like we had that conversation for the, 10, 15 minutes there of knowing your numbers and what does that truly mean? How do you truly show profit? Like, you have to figure that out in business before you, go cut grass because you can go cut grass and not make any money. And so I think those are topics we definitely need to talk about, and I definitely want to get you back on to talk about those here soon in the near future. But that is going to wrap this one up for tonight. I really do appreciate it. We're going on a late night here, doing your own vacation, taking time out of your night and to spend it with us here on the show. Where can everybody find you if they want to follow you on social media?
Let me plug Trifecta Landscaping, of course, on all platforms, TikTok, everything. But then also, if you guys want to talk marketing stuff, which is a big thing about what we do and what I do for other green industry professionals, you can hit me up, alex@puremarketing.com is my email, but puremarketingteam.com. We do social media and SEO, website creation. We're super good at it. I'm not going to lie. We're really good at it, especially for service and trades. Like, that's our main focus. So if you need help, we've done 15 websites for green industry professionals this year already.
Yeah.
And they're really good and they're killing it. Like a couple of guys have doubled their revenue from their online stuff. So
it's important.
And, you can DM me anywhere. I usually respond pretty quickly. So that's where you can find me.
Absolutely. Go check him out. If y'all got questions, Alex, he's a great help. He can give you a lot of knowledge and help you grow or just maybe work through some things. He can definitely help you out, and he does respond very quickly and super nice in the way it works. And Alex is just a super great guy, and I really appreciate having him on tonight. But if you enjoyed the show, would you leave us a rating and review? Those really help us and boost us in the algorithm to reach a bigger community so we can continue to grow the community one relationship at a time. But without any further ado, that's going to wrap this one up, and we look forward to catching up with everybody here on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.